All right, first, it's a perennial problem for prisons. You lock up a criminal, they serve their sentence, but sooner or later, some of them are back inside again.
Simon Borsman looks at one pilot scheme that aims to reduce reoffending.
Does prison work? It's a question politicians from all sides find hard to agree on, even when they represent the same party.
Too often, prison has proved a costly and ineffectual approach.
Prison works.
But if you had to put money on what type of prison regime is most effective, what would you choose? At this jail, that isn't just a policy question, it affects the bottom line. If Doncaster Prison doesn't get results, the company that runs it loses money.
Now, the way the contract's going to work is if the prison doesn't reduce reoffending rates by 5%, it's going to lose 10% of its yearly budget, which is around £2 million.
The reoffending rate here is 65% for short-term prisoners and 42% for those sentenced to more than a year. And the governor says prison has to be more than just a deterrent.
Predominantly in this area, we deliver basic numeracy and literacy educational awards for prisoners. A significant chunk of prisoners who come into a place like Doncaster will have very, very low levels of literacy and numeracy.
The prison's approach to reducing the number of prisoners who go on to commit crimes once they've left, and therefore protect Serco's budget, is to focus on rehabilitation and support.
There is no such thing as the archetypal criminal. People becoming involved in crime for a number of different reasons. So part of our job is, when prisoners first come into prison, is to find out exactly what it is that's got them to this point.
So what do you do then on a practical level?
We have quite an extensive range of eggs in the basket. So I do have local sports teams helping me with coaching offenders. I have nationally recognised organisations helping me to deliver applied theatre and the filmmaking courses. Employment and training are other big issues.
And the prisoners, which the prison selected for us to talk to, all had good things to say.
What are you in for?
I'm for burglary and deception. I think people should be given a chance to change their ways. Do you know what I mean? If you lock people up in a cell and you just leave them in a cell, there's no rehabilitation at all in that. Do you know what I mean? Because people turn angry, nasty, and start resenting prison officers.
As well as doing music, I've built up a lot of other skills such as drama and editing, film and things like that. So basically this time when I get out, there's a lot of options for me.
In another part of the all-male prison, I came across something I didn't expect to see. The prisons see keeping a relationship with family as an important way to reduce offending.
I'm in here for another 2.5 years, so he'd be free by the time I got out. And obviously I'd have never changed him, fed him, bathed him, and it'd just be like some stranger turning up, missing out on everything that I've missed. I could never do it again, ever.
Now we've met prisoners with their kids and seen role-playing and editing. So there are parts of this place which are starting to feel a bit like a college. So what about those people who think that prison should actually be about punishment?
When people ask me that question, my answer is, the people that I hold here are not my prisoners. They're Sheffield's prisoners, they're Barnsley's prisoners, they're Doncaster's prisoners. And if all I do is hold them and do nothing with them, then what Barnsley and Sheffield and Doncaster get out at the end is exactly the same, or worse, as what came in the first place.
Not everyone supports this new approach. The Prison Officers Association have said schemes like this lead to the easiest cases being focused on, something this prison are adamant isn't the case. Many of the approaches Doncaster use are present in some form in other jails, but one thing is unique. Their work in conjunction with the charity Catch 22 continues outside the prison gates. Ben was in Doncaster a few months ago for criminal damage and possession of an offensive weapon. He still sees Kerry, who was the same caseworker as when he was inside.
She comes through, helps me with my appointments, sorts my probation out for me, my job centre out for me. If she weren't about on that day, I said I'd probably been locked up again already by now, truthfully.
What is it that's going to stop you going back to jail?
I think on top of the support that Kerry and them from hostels gave me, and my mother and that, it's my mates and my own, like, off my own back really.
If Serco do better than their targets, they get a bonus payment. And critics of the scheme question whether it's right for private companies to profit if someone like Ben turns their life around. But the prisons are sure that they will get results, and at least they're putting their money where their mouth is.
Well, it's too early for any results, but an interesting idea, and we'll follow the story and see what happens.
Yes, we will.